phenomenal actor has been picked to play Ozzy Osbourne in an upcoming biopic. This is a blabbermouth article. I'll have the link in the description if you want to read it for yourself. But basically, Jack recently appeared on a special holiday episode of Influenced, the SiriusXM show hosted by talented musician and artist Billy Morrison. Billy Morrison is the guitarist for Billy Idol, right? And played on a lot of Ozzy's recent music, and Ozzy and Billy have a few Osbournes interview videos together these last few years. So here's the quote about the biopic. "We are in full steam in the next phase of development with this movie. It's an acted movie we've been developing with Sony Studios for like 6 years already, for which actor will play Ozzy in the film. Jack says, we have our decided pick, and I can't say anything yet, but it's a phenomenal actor. We have a director attached, and we're doing a rewrite right now." After Billy noted that Ozzy would get a kick out of having the movie, Jack concurred. "Oh, he would have," Jack says. And all he kept saying, I'd give him updates. "Oh, we met this guy, and this is happening." And Ozzy would just go, "I don't give a shit. Just tell me when it's out so I can go see it." Typical Ozzy. I know that this is the truth. Yeah, they've been saying for years that they're working on the movie together. Let's see. It says it will be scripted by Lee Hall, who worked on Elton John's Rocket Man. Ozzy and Sharon, along with Jack and Kelly, discussed the biopic in April 2024 on their Revive podcast. I made videos about this in that time. If you liked a video of Sharon announcing it, it was probably one that I posted or something to do with me. "By the time they finish this film, I'll be dead. I want to be alive to see it," Ozzy said at the time. "Movies take forever," Sharon added, unfortunately. But, yeah, Sharon did say Florence Pugh or the little girl from Game of Thrones would be good to play her. The film is being produced by Sharon and her children, Jack and Amy Osbourne, via their label Osbourne Media. Also behind God Bless Ozzy Osbourne. That's an amazing... Oh, no, The 9 Lives of Ozzy Osbourne. That's the one I've seen. Go watch 9 Lives of Ozzy Osbourne if the whole Ozzy upbringing and career is not... If you only vaguely know his story, go see that movie. Alongside Michael Anthony, David Blackman on behalf of Polygram Entertainment. Hold on, there's some news down here too. Ozzy stated about the biopic, "From what I understand, it's about Sharon and I and our relationship. It's how we met, fell in love, and how we married. She's my other half. She grew up a lot with me, and I grew up a lot with her. I hope it will be a story that everyone can relate to," Sharon said. "You don't have to be a fan of the music because it's a story about a survivor. No matter what life throws at you, you pick yourself up and you start again. It's just an amazing story of overcoming everything that's thrown at you in your life." Sharon added that the film will be a lot more real than the Queen biopic Bohemian Rhapsody. "We don't want to be squeaky, shiny, clean, and all of that," she said. "We're not making it for kids. It's an adult movie for adults." And I think that'll age the best. Not saying I don't love the Queen movie. I love the Queen movie, but yeah, just making it the way that's most truthful and the way you want it to be will definitely... The kids will grow up. Everyone will see it eventually. That will be the long-term move and play, will be to just make it however the fuck you want it to be. And it will be a story everyone can relate to. The reason, in my opinion, and I'm just speaking off the cuff, so I hope I'm about to say the right words. Something that's so lovable about Ozzy, he is a superhero that we can see this deep down in ourselves, this character. And he lives this empowering life that we all want to bring out of ourselves. And that's why he's the Ringmaster and the Prince of Darkness, is because through him, we see our own selves that we love. And he's just the example of someone you can relate to. So I guarantee his story will whether people, the semantics of, oh, can I relate to that or not? People will be sucked in because even if they don't realize it, there's something deep down that is speaking to themselves. I think that was pretty well said. Back in January 2019, wow, the 2019 times, that seems so long ago, but also yesterday. I was sitting in a coffee shop in Austin, Texas, and just hearing about COVID and thinking, I'm glad I'm in Austin because viruses like that never make their way over here. I jinx it for the whole universe. Sharon told Variety that she had approached Danny Boyle with a few movies about directing the film. It's the madness of my childhood growing up in the industry with a powerful father who was somewhat violent, she said. That's a whole other movie I want to see. Don Arden, Sharon's father. He has so many bad stories. For someone who's not that famous, he's just famous for being like the world's biggest asshole. That's too bad. Too bad of a legacy. Sharon went on to say that she would get a complete unknown to play Ozzy. It's Ozzy at a very young age. She explained Ozzy at 20. But that doesn't make sense with Ozzy falling in love with Sharon, because Ozzy was born in 48 and Sharon came into the picture 80-81, and they would have fallen in love around 81, so that would be 32. So maybe it'll have both. Well, that was 2019, so maybe they've changed it since then. Sharon's father, Don Arden, became known as Al Capone of pop and the English godfather for tough guy business practices while overseeing the careers of Electric Light Orchestra to Black Sabbath. Arden and his daughter became estranged in 1982 after she took over the management of Ozzy's solo career, also marrying the singer. Father and daughter were not on good terms till 20 years out, until reconciling in 2002. Sharon had to pay her father $1 million in a court settlement after she gained control of Ozzy's affairs. Ozzy, I hate seeing this still. Ozzy died on July 22nd, 2025, of a heart attack. His death certificate revealed. The certificate reportedly said the 76-year-old musician suffered from coronary artery disease and Parkinson's disease. 6 months ago, Osbourne reunited with the rest of the original Black Sabbath lineup. 6 months. Tony Geezer Bill. Final performance at Back to the Beginning charity concert. And that's the end of the article. Thank you, Blabbermouth. That a lot of this video has just been me reading the article, but yeah, I'm happy to bring this information. What are my thoughts now? Because I think that people will sigh at hearing a Sharon and Ozzy story, but I think them together and their story together is the foundation of the Ozzy Osbourne story. There is no Ozzy without Sharon. Sharon is the director of behind the scenes. It's amazing how well they are counterparts for each other. There was an Ozzy without Sharon the first few months that he was separated from Black Sabbath. And that was not the same Ozzy that we saw after she knocked on his door and told him, get ready, we're going. And she also, there's controversy about if everything their camp did was fair, which I will not get into because I'm pro Sharon and pro Osbourne camp, at least for now. No, forever. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is she's so business sense oriented, and we have a lot to learn from her, and I would love to know more about her knowledge and experience working in the music business. And yeah, I don't think we know enough about that story. We know the Ozzy story. There's I Am Ozzy, and there's the book, the recent one, Last Rites, which kind of recaps a lot of I Am Ozzy. But yeah, I would love to hear more of her perspective and hope this movie provides it. And I can't wait to see a visual because I've read I Am Ozzy a couple times and heard these stories. And so that'll be really cool to see this new dimension of the Ozzy story. It's another thing that's on my mind that doesn't even have to do as much about the movie, but it feels like I've seen a lot of the Ozzy live clips on YouTube, and there's not even a whole lot of it, like especially in the 80s. But then whenever the Osbourne camp picks and chooses, they all of a sudden just drop this totally new unseen video. And I just wonder, are they sitting on so much Ozzy live footage that's just difficult to obtain? I'm curious how to obtain it, or I don't know. Is that a thing? Or am I just looking in the wrong places? I would love to know more on if there's more good Ozzy footage. Or maybe just back in the early 80s, they weren't videoing every concert. Man, people like to say, like, if I was in a big band, what would I do? I feel like I would be all for documenting every concert, even if it wasn't a professional video setup. Just placing a camera at a good angle and documenting it. Also, when bands do release their the modern shots, sometimes there's too much camera changing and effects. Sometimes I do just want to stare at the drums, like with the Rush video. The Rush concert. It's a 3-hour thing, but it's frustrating. Sometimes I just want to like zone out and stare at the drums, but then after like 8 seconds they go away, and so I don't know. What other thoughts do I have on Ozzy other than incredibly missing him, missing out on that Back to the Beginning show? Although, who else can relate to this that watched Back to the Beginning at home? In a good way, I liked it because, if you were there, you spend the money to get into the show, the flight to England, the train ticket, which probably wouldn't have been that much, but all the expenses, food for being there, everything. And at home, I didn't spend that money. But then here's the thing that I'm trying to say. If you were there, you'd be at some super far back seat. And however the audio ends up being would be what you saw, what you heard. You'd be very far back. And I think the audio sounded good according to what I've heard. But the benefit of being at home, you get the perfect audio. There's a couple of hiccups, but whenever Ozzy was on stage, it sounded good. And the perfect camera angles. You get to be on stage with Ozzy as opposed to sitting in the back of the arena and paying $3,000, $5,000, whatever you paid. So I kind of liked that I just got that like front row seat by paying the $40 for the live stream. And of all the things we pay these days, it's like, it feels like, $40. That's a gross amount of money to pay for this, to watch this. But I don't know. We waste $20, $40 on other dumb shit all the time. No big deal. And it turns out it was worth every penny. $40 to see Ozzy one last time in this grand show. Okay, I'm going to also say this point. First, the Taylor Hawkins show reunited rock fans, or united. They got a bunch of artists together that normally in the business of music, these people are always working, right? That's why they are what they are. And so there's not a lot of time for everybody to just hang out with each other. But that concert forced everybody to have a reason to hang out. Then again, the Ozzy Back to the Beginning show was another reason that everybody had to get together and a big hype moment. There was very similar vibes. It even was a similar selection of musicians that were in both of those. And I think that both shows really helped the state of rock. And I think it would be really cool and important for rock music if somehow the genre could figure out how to have more giant rock shows like that where all the musicians get together and it's what, 1 or 3 days. Rock really needs something like that, and I just keep wondering, like, what's the next big show in the next year or two? Do we really have to wait for someone to pass away, or can we just start making this a thing? It's like the Super Bowl of rock or the Olympics of rock Olympics, Mount Olympus rock show every 2 years. The greatest people in rock get together and put on a phenomenal all-day show. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Thanks for tuning in. And let me know your thoughts. Talk to you later.